Every year, fantasy managers panic at the trade deadline. The smart ones prepare. Today, we're looking at NBA trade deadline stashes, players you can grab now before the dominoes fall. Let's go and win some leagues. G'day guys, I'm D-Mac from NBA Fantasy Bible here on the Believe in Fantasy Basketball Network. And along with me, Matty G. Matty Garrett, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, mate, I'm good. It's just a casual Tuesday evening before trade deadline, living in the future and getting ready for what's starting to get a little bit spicy as of today with those Harden rumors and stuff. It's the intrigue is picking up.
Yeah, it's almost taken over from the Giannis rumors as well. And there's a lot going on. I'm looking forward to it. We're 2 days away from NBA trade deadline. But today, on today's episode, we're going to actually talk about stashes. Some of the stashes we've discussed at length before, and you've probably stashed some of these guys away. Maybe they're reappeared on your waiver wires, but we're going to go through a few other names as well. Some left field ones as well, Matty G, and I'm looking forward to some of yours as well, mate.
Mate, yeah, some salaries to be moved around the NBA, some rookies on the rise. Let's do pod things. Let's do it.
All right, trade deadline is February the 5th, 3 p.m. Eastern time in the US. So adjust your timing depending on where you are in the world and make sure you turn on notifications. Who do you follow, Matty G, for the best notifications? Shams is a guy that obviously that we all love and adore. Who else should we be following?
Just Shams. I think in the post-Woj era, which I still am very sad to say that it's all Shams. We know it comes on there straight away, and these are quickly distributed like crazy. So make sure you're following yourself, myself, Josh, Adam King, like Dan Besbris, the homie, and of course our boy Robin Marks, the founder of Believe. Like all these guys, we're just on. I know I'm going to be up at like 1:30, 2 a.m. in Australia on Dan Besbris' show live, which is just so early. It's so early.
You're doing well. I'll be on Dan's show as well a little bit earlier. So yeah, kudos to you, mate. But let's get into some of our names. So let's start with the obvious ones. Jalen Smith. Now, he's actually reappeared on some waiver wires, which has been somewhat interesting in terms of the timing, but he's missed a couple of games, which has frustrated some people.
I think that's the thing. Like Sticks is there, whether he deserves to be rostered at this point now, whether he's been dropped or not, that's kind of good for you. Jalen is just another one of the Jalens in the NBA, basically. Like he's now a rosterable Jalen. He's been down 3% in Yahoo leagues, down to 19% ownership with his absences since his calf issue. This is just, we get him, we use him. He was a double-double machine before that. Great percentages. The free throws didn't click there for 2 games. That probably pissed a couple of owners off. You know, when you get like zeros, you're like, oh, damn it, he cooked my free throw percentage. But even Kawhi has missed like 10 free throws in the last 2 games, which is unusual for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it
happens.
happens.
And I think with Jalen Smith, we know it's Nikola Vucevic. It's contract year as well. So expiring contract, I should say.
That's sexy.
Maybe this is the year. We talk about this pretty much every single season with Vucevic, but perhaps this is the season. I think we talked about it in the preseason as well.
We talked about it in the preseason. You were like, he's going, Matty. He's gone. He's gone out of Chicago.
It's crunch time. We'll find out in a couple of days, perhaps even earlier than that. So, yeah, make sure you keep an eye out for that. But Sticks just should be stashed, and he's our number 1 stash candidate. Number 2, another pretty obvious one, and discussed him for quite some time, is Day'Ron Sharpe.
Yeah, man, I've loved my Day'Ron Sharpe experience this year. This is a guy who I've got some stocks in. I was really annoyed in our personal friends and family league that Steve St. Pierre picked him up, and then he had an almost double game. He's been doing that on the average of about sub 20 minutes. So 22 minutes last game, 18, 17, 19 minutes. He's not getting you a lot of blocks, though. So just a bit of buyer beware. I am surprised that they have pretty much gone non-existent at stretches, but you can get doubles there. Will hurt your free throw percentage, but a nice end of season if you can let him off the chain and let the man cook.
Yeah, and there's going to be a theme in this show. It's going to be a lot of teams that are tanking. So Nets, we're going to go through a couple of Nets players, Jazz as well. It's these guys that have no benefit in winning as well. So Day'Ron Sharpe, obviously we got Nick Claxton. His time has been up and down as well, but Claxton has still been really good bounce back season, but Day'Ron Sharpe is our guy here.
Yeah, 100%. And I know you got Danny Wolf on your list and Jaeger, and my boy Jaeger. My thing with these guys is the minutes and the non-back-to-backs of Yalman is just does my head in. And he'll have a great game, and he'll be off your wire, and someone will own him, or you'll be the owner. I'll guarantee you this, and I'm talking to you. That's right, you listening right now, the person who had Jaeger. And you're like, yeah, I'll go pick him up, and then he played 14 minutes and went 2 from 4, and then you dropped him. And then it really hurt when he went 8 from 11 the next game and looked like an all-star. So just it's gonna be that ride, mate. 100%.
It's going to be rocky, and you don't really know what the Nets are going to do. Are they going to preserve their prize rookie this season? They're going to play more Nolan Traore, which I loved a few seasons back as a prospect, and obviously he went down on that draft board as well. But perhaps they play more Traore down the stretch. But Yeoman is just so inconsistent. But when he's been on, he's just pretty. He's a pretty player to watch. Very aesthetic on the eye.
Yeah, he looks good in his t-shirt. What can we say? The next one is the future Minnesota person, because I can't see like an outcome where this guy doesn't play for the Minnesota Timberwolves at some point. Danny is, in fact, now I know it doesn't look good there with all the Reds, but he is actually the man with the minutes right now that we're getting in Brooklyn. And this is where I'm more curious by him, even over Day'Ron Sharpe to a major extent, because we've got Sharpe and Clowney and these other names we've played and flirted with before. But Danny's, the last 3 games, is getting 28, 29 minutes a night. That's good. That enables production. If the efficiency can come up, that'd be good. Like, he went 2 from 9 his last game, 10 rebounds. He's getting you a block almost every single game. He's chipping in some assists. So across the board here. So yeah, if he could get his field goal percentage up, man, I think Wolf is one of the guys, only 2% rostered in Yahoo leagues as well.
Yeah, really exciting rookie, and obviously a lot of his value is hinging on Michael Porter Jr. We expect him to be traded at the trade deadline as well, but watch this space as well for Michael Porter Jr. Do you expect him to go to a contender, or are we just waiting for the Nets to just hang on and be like the Chicago Bulls, really?
I feel like I'm like Shams right now. From what I'm hearing, D-Mac, is this. What I'm actually hearing is that he's off the table. I'm hearing that he is off the table, that the Nets are actually really into the Michael Porter Jr. experience. I think people are more trying to peel out Lauri Markkanen as an asset from Utah, maybe before MPJ goes. Because think about it, they're pretty much 2 kind of carbon copy-ish guys. I think if you're looking for one of them, you get the best deal for your organization. And if the Nets are reluctant to move MPJ, I tell you, man, they're going to get another asset. They're going to be able to put together a team.
Yep. And All-Star reserves were named yesterday. MPJ was unlucky to miss out. So he's had an All-Star caliber type of season. So kudos 100%. To him, and he's remained focused. Now, the next one, probably widely rostered already, but this guy we spoke about as a stash earlier on when he was injured. But Ty Jerome, if he's not already rostered in your league, make sure he is. There's going to be some ups and downs. There's going to be some missed games with rest while he ramps up. But he's played 2 games, not represented here yet on hashtag, but he's played 2 games, around 20 minutes per game at the moment, and he's been outstanding.
Mate, he is absolutely cooking. And I love this as well because it is a prime. I'm going to zag and say it's sell high time, because a few things. Scottie Pippen Jr. has got to ramp up. This guy looks great. You know, in preseason drafts, mate, I was grabbing Jerome everywhere. He even has small forward eligibility in some leagues. I think he is an absolute asset on a fantasy basketball roster. I've got him in 4 leagues. I even stashed him in Lo-Fi Bowl like 3 weeks ago. This is massive for me. I love Jerome, but it's sell high, because what happens if Ja Morant sticks around and they go pushing? Or if Ja Morant goes for Tyler Hero, if that is the trade to the Miami Heat, what becomes of Ty Jerome? I don't think he gets as much off the leash as he is right now. So, look, I love it. You can get him, or you can trade him now and maybe really target a great piece.
Yep, essentially just go and roster him right now, and we'll see what happens in a couple of days' time. A lot of rumors, of course, around Ja Morant's future at the Grizzlies. Now, moving on to the next one is Ace Bailey. Exciting rookie. I've liked what I've seen recently. The numbers across the season don't yet really represent what he's doing at the moment.
No, they don't. He's been on a nice little tear as of late, and shout out to my mate Nate. We were in a draft with him, and you remember him in the preseason taking Ace Bailey way too high. He has actually been cooking as of late. Now, the last game was indicative, 1 of 10 from the field, but the minutes are starting to be there for Ace Bailey. The 20-point games are there. He's getting almost double doubles some games. Like, he's putting in some steals and defense, and I like it. He's also not turning over the ball a lot. Now, he did 3 in his last game, but I just think the upside is there. And I think if they let him off the chain, he is going to have a tremendous end of season mustache player.
Yeah, particularly on the Jazz team. Lauri Markkanen, who we will discuss in greater detail a little bit later on, but we expect Lauri Markkanen, Nurkic as well as a sell high. We've seen Mr. Triple-double, 3 triple-doubles in a row, but we don't expect him to play down the stretch if he remains on that Jazz team. But moving on to some other Jazz, Bryce Sensabaugh, not a great fantasy stat set, but in terms of points, they can be very valuable off the waiver wire. So I think he should be also rostered here.
Yes, it makes sense to roster him. I'll say you like that one. Yeah, thank you. It makes sense about. Look, I've got him in our friends and family comp. I've got him everywhere because there's just something really attractive about having a player who can just drop 20 points in a game, get you some rebounds. Again, his last couple games haven't been there efficiency wise, but the amount of multiple threes this guy can give you, it is a very hollow stat set. He can bump up your free throw percentage because he does get to the line sometimes, multiple times a game. That's nice. So, look, love it. Hot 3-point shooter as well. Over 40% from 3. Yeah, just a great little player. Again, but you would probably get him in for a back-to-back or a nice week and then move for what you need to win a week. But he can help you win a week, Bryce Sensabaugh.
Definitely. Another Jazz guy, and this one is probably key, and we saw him really help out at the end of last season. It's Kyle Filipowski.
Yeah, look, in the starters minutes that he got recently with Yusuf Nurkic being out with his, and also Nurkic again is out tomorrow for the Jazz. So let's just make sure that if we're listening to this straight away, that we're getting on and we're looking to add him for the day. So Big Kai, as I like to call him, is getting the minutes when he does. Now, he played 28 minutes in that last one, 14, 12, 2 assists, a steal, and a block. Look, he can hurt your free throw percentage a little bit, probably even hurt your field goal percentage for a big fella. But if he gets running, gets 28 to 34 minutes a night, yeah, definitely he can help you win some leagues.
Yeah, there was a game that Nurk and Lauri Markkanen sat earlier in the season. I was big on streaming in Kyle Filipowski, and I think he shot 1 of 10. So, yeah, you got to be aware of that. But typically, he's okay from the field, and yeah, he can hurt you from the free throw line, as you mentioned. But I still think he's worth stashing at this very stage of the season. Now, the aforementioned Lauri Markkanen, take us through this. Now, not really a stash. He's not going to be available. This is a buy low opportunity.
This is a, if you haven't sold him yet in your league, just don't go trying to do it now. Don't go and try and force your hand on a trade because it's either one, you're not going to get it done anyway. You're going to be selling him for the same price now that you sell him for after the trade deadline in fantasy basketball. He's not playing. People are going to say he's not playing. I'd rather him return and play like 3 or 4 games and some word of mouth like, yeah, look, they're happy with what happened after the deadline. He's going to play basketball and you get a better price if you can trade him afterwards before your league deadline. But if he goes now to a contender, if he goes now to a Golden State Warriors team, if he goes now to a team that needs his skill set and he plays basketball, well, you're screwed. So hear me out. Don't go and try and force the trade on Markkanen now because you will not get back what you want. But if he stays in Utah, play some games and makes a run, try and sell a little bit high if you've still got room in that window. But right now, what you want to do, it just makes sense to hold him and see what happens, especially if he does get traded. And if he does, this is a guy who could definitely help you win some leagues. He is a top 25 fantasy player, and you do not get these guys sitting on rosters very often.
It's an interesting take. I like where you're going with that one. If you do have Lauri Markkanen, so you're saying hold, let's see what happens.
Yeah, hold and see what happens. Hold and see what happens.
Are we trading for him? Is that a high risk, high return type of situation?
Look, I don't even think it's high risk right now. I do not think many owners are going to be very happy with what they're doing and holding Lauri Markkanen right now. You could definitely put the spin on it like, look, man, he's not playing games. Who knows? And if it's maybe an inexperienced, it's like, oh, yeah, but he could get traded. Yeah, we say he could get traded every year. You know what I mean? Like we say he could get traded every single year. And I think he can get something up. Like last game, 27 and 11. Like huge game. Didn't play. But the 2 games before that, didn't set the world on fire. And then he was out for like 9 games. So, look, what Lauri Markkanen are we getting? If we can get, I think if he goes to a contender, we are looking at this 19-point, 22-point guy with some rebounds and credentials in his roster. He's a 99% rostered player. So, again, being able to pry him away won't be easy. But I just think you either hold him or you just put out some offers, and I don't think they have to be that incredibly high. I think they have to be solid, but I don't think we offer the moon. We shoot for the moon. If we miss, we land amongst the stars.
Yep, I like it. I like it, mate. We're going to go through 3 paces at the moment. Aaron Naismith, probably on a lot of rosters, but he's also available in some of the leagues that I'm currently in. He's playing well at the moment, and he probably has some upside there with a few guys like Pascal Siakam, probably either going to be rested or just really managed towards the end of the season.
Yeah, look, he's been picked up and dropped off in leagues all over the place. He's having a nice little run right now. Great to see, especially with Benny Mathurin out. He's up to 28% rostered in Yahoo leagues, up 2% in the last day, which just tells me that he deserves a place in a roster in your home. Looking at our league, he was drafted, dropped by you. He was added from waivers initially by you at the beginning of the league. He wasn't great. You dropped him within a week of the fantasy season. That's how bad Aaron Naismith was. And then he's been picked up 5 other times during the course of the season. This is the type of the season where we can hold him. We're happy we have him. But if he's not there, go and grab him now.
Yep. Another guy we can grab is someone who's been quite hot. But again, there's room for upside here is Jarris Walker. I think he's a nice stash. But again, it's probably a different situation to what we've seen with other teams that you'd have some trade candidates, more the rest candidates for the Pacers here.
Yeah, he's also a candidate in the Isaiah Stewart lookalike competition, Jarris Walker. So if look at that. Does that not look like a young beef stew to you?
It does. It does.
It does. Jarris Walker has been lightening up again. As you said, if they do rest Pascal Siakam, which we are likely to as well, we're probably going to see that. And I don't think Obi Toppin, I don't know if they're going to do the same because they like Obi Toppin in the organization. And I know he's on one of your list as your Pacers guys.
He is.
I think if Obi Toppin isn't a stash either, it's got to be Jarris Walker all the way, just like we've seen like that Isaiah Jackson run like 3 years ago. You know what I mean? Like these are the runs that we get at the end of seasons.
It's funny you mentioned Isaiah Jackson had an outstanding game last night, but Obi Toppin, I mentioned him on Dan Besbris's stash show that I was on earlier in the week. He's just a little bit different. He's still coming back from injury, but by all accounts, he will be back this season. And we saw perhaps 3 or 4 seasons ago, he helped a lot of fantasy managers win their leagues while he was on the Knicks.
Yeah, 100%. And look, I love good things for him. I think he's been improved. He had a very solid start of the season this year in Indiana as well. Very good start. And then an injury was very unfortunate. And they've been riddled with him this year. But I think Obi Toppin, we look to see if he returns and how he can get some run out. I think he sits later. And I think that's where Jarris Walker will be dropped. And then we can come back and pick up Obi Toppin later in the season.
The interesting thing with Obi Toppin in that first week or first few games of the season was he was playing the small ball 5, and we were umming and ahhing around. Is it Isaiah Jackson? Is it going to be Jay Huff? It turned out to be neither. It was Obi Toppin, and we were like, yeah, baby, let's do this. Then he was unfortunately injured, hasn't been seen since. Hopefully back within the next 1 or 2 weeks. So perhaps this is not a stash for trade deadline, but a stash for later on if you can afford it, if you can stash him away in your injured reserve slot.
100%.
Next one, Jeremiah Fears, the rookie. He's been at times definitely rosterable and at times not, but I think he's going to get more run. It's the New Orleans Pelicans. We know how much they're struggling. They don't have much to play for, let's be honest. So I think Jeremiah Fears gets a nice run towards the back end of the season.
Look, I was down in that Melbourne thing earlier. I told you straight away when I was down there, I'm like, they have a lot of, he seems to be playing a lot for an exhibition game, which just tells me one thing. He will probably be playing a lot for an end of season team that doesn't care. It's pretty much the same thing. It's like, if it's like, oh, you can't put any stock and trade in the preseason. That's bullshit. I say that's absolute crud nuggets because the preseason pretty much becomes the end of silly season of fantasy basketball. And we can
I'm going to give you your flowers as well, because the other thing that you said when you were talking about Jeremiah Fears was that Sadiq Bey was looking quite good. And look at Sadiq Bey at the moment. He's flying. So good call by you, my friend.
Mate, these guys look good down there. And again, you can't glean much, but you can, a guy that wants to prove himself to be able to play basketball again after a year off, if he wants to show himself, he's going to show himself whenever he gets the opportunity. Tick to Sadiq Bey. A rookie getting run and being supported by the players around him to be like, oh, no, you man, you've got to attack. And seeing him pulled aside by guys like on the sidelines, man, Trey Murphy wasn't playing. But Trey Murphy was in his ear talking to him, giving him his props. And you see those kind of things in body language. Team supports a player. He gets minutes. He'll get you some results.
Yep, and I think teams want to play their rookies just to see what the synergy's like with the rest of the team. They obviously got Derek Queen as well. So I think want to build that synergy moving into the next season as well. Speaking of synergy, the lack thereof of Jonathan Kuminga hasn't really been playing much, but he's a stash. Take us through why you think, Matty G, he is a stash here.
Because it's just like you've all had those girlfriends. Like we've all had those girlfriends we've gone back to, and we end up in that relationship again for a little bit, and then it gets toxic, and then it goes to hell in a paper bag. He's got a bone bruise in his knee, and he's got a reevaluation date coming out. Surprise, surprise. Pretty sure that reevaluation is going to be around the time of the trade deadline when he's on a new team and he can play.
Interesting.
And that's a shame. And it's a shame because he was playing well in the game that he came back. A couple of games, 9 minutes in, 3 from 3, 4 from 4 from the line, 10-1, 2-2. Like this is the full Kuminga experience. And if we can get the full Kuminga, bucket, then that's a player that we should roster. And right now, he's just plainly not rostered. In fact, people aren't even hanging on to this bloke anymore. They're just like, look, I can pick him up later. He's 20% rostered. It is unmoved. No one cares. You should, especially if he's going to help you win a league.
Yep. If you've got a free IR or IL slot, take a chance on the bucket. Next one, Kel'el Ware was dropped quite heavily. He's been garbage since moving to the bench. Actually had a nice ball game in the last one, but Kel'el Ware is another stash of yours.
Yeah, look, I just see if they are going to put in a Giannis package. If there's going to be some deal that goes over the top for Giannis, I think it has to involve Kel'el Ware. Now, his last one, again, was a showing of what he can do in those 18 minutes, the 17 points, the 6 rebounds. It's fantastic. He's a 60% rostered player, so he is a little bit harder to find, but he hasn't moved. And he turns into a top 50, top 75 beast when he gets the minutes. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking forward to him landing in an opportunity if he is in a big blockbuster trade for the likes of a Giannis Antetokounmpo. And if he goes as part of that package, I think he could play really well next to Miles Turner and get some run. I think Doc Rivers is going to throw him out there.
I put a poll out on my Twitter page 2 nights ago. Hold or drop Kel'el Ware. 80%, I didn't see the final results, but early days, 80% said drop. I was like somewhat surprised, but also understand we're fighting for that playoff berth, guys. So dropping someone who's not giving you that production is sometimes the only move that you have to make. But if you're in a good spot, and sometimes stashes are dependent on how you're going your league standings, Kel'el Ware is someone you need to look at seriously.
100%. And I think it all goes to one thing there as well, D-Mac, is that you kind of hit it on the head when you're saying it. These are basketball players. And we're playing fantasy. Basketball. We need our players to play. If they don't play, if they don't get the minutes, they can't get the numbers and the result that we want out of them in fantasy, and they become drop candidates right there. But a guy who could be very much a big ad candidate. And we've got 2 Mavericks that I wanted to put up there. Well, one that I came up with, D'Angelo Russell. And this is the offset. If D'Angelo Russell isn't there, not that he's getting minutes right now, is that in an opportunity where he's this, we've got D'Angelo Russell. We've seen him come after trade deadlines with a bit of FU energy and produce. And if he goes to a team where they need a point guard as a starter, D'Angelo Russell could probably be a fringe ad right now. But the big minute there that will definitely open up a pathway for Brandon Williams, 100%. Even Ryan Nembhard, to some extent, can get more of a run there in Dallas. So I'm watching the Mavericks guards. I think end of season, we see some shenanigans, especially with no Kyrie officially coming back yet. And what becomes of AD at the trade deadline? I don't think we see Kyrie come back if AD is gone necessarily. So for me, I'm just watching the Dallas point guard movement.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see, and also how they play Cooper Flagg down the stretch. They obviously want to get him to 65 games, Rookie of the Year, obviously want that for their organization and in a way justify the move or whatever it was with Luka. But the next one, Karl-Anthony Towns, similar situation, well, a little bit to Larry Markkinen, but is this a buy low? Take us through this.
Yeah, it's been a big buy low for a while now for me for Big Per. I call them the Mopey Knicks, players only meetings. I don't know if you can be a players only meeting when your dad is an assistant coach of the team. You know, can you imagine Jalen Brunson going to visit his parents for dinner after that players only meeting? It's like, hey son, how was your day? Oh mate, yeah, tough dad. Had a players only meeting. Oh, I can't talk about it, but here, have a beer. Yeah. You know, it's like the Mopey Knicks. Karl-Anthony Towns is the most mopiest of all of the Knickerbockers. Has been playing a little bit better as of late, but he seems to be the bane of the existence to many. Like he's the chagrin one in the team, and when there is a player that gets this much chagrin, he's 100% rostered. You don't want him for 11 points and 13 boards. the amount of rebounds the bloke pulls down is really sexy. But the inefficiency from the floor is absolutely killing this guy. And so for me, I think after the trade deadline, he is better. I think they just move on with the business of winning and playing basketball games in an Eastern Conference, which could see LeBron James arrive at it next year, according to reports. He's one of the new names. Like, he could go to New York. He's always wanted to play there. Fair and easy East. But I think Karl-Anthony Towns is one name that we have to watch, but I think he is better. So I'm still sending out some buy low offers. Obviously not hugely low, but I still think we put feelers out there for Karl-Anthony Towns because I see him better on the Knicks or I see him better in a fresh start. So, look, I even sent out one the other day for Evan Mobley for him, straight swap. And with Evan Mobley being out a couple more weeks, people are like, oh, get a bit of a taste. So I think Karl-Anthony Towns can return back to being a top 25 player towards the tail end of the season.
I like it. Stash and a buy low at the same time. Now, the next two and the final two are a couple that you sent me going, and I thought to myself, this is intriguing. Take me through these Raptors.
My Raptors. The Raptors are just over $900,000 right now. So I've got Jacoby Walter and Ochai Agbaji right there. Now, they are over into the luxury tax threshold by $967,000. That's an important number because it's not just the money that they're over, it's the repeated tax bracket that they enter. So they need to make a trade to shed that cap before the deadline. So the Raptors need to do anything. On my show, The Take, with Alex Sumsky from Basketball Forever last week, he may know someone who is an agent for someone who is on the Raptors. This is the intel that Sumsky gets. And he told me in no uncertain terms, I know two names that are not going anywhere, but I know they are looking to move someone because they need to. And so I started looking through the roster and I said, it's got to be Jacoby Walter and Ochai Agbaji. And he was like, yep. And we're already hearing Emmanuel Quickley's name being out there as well. So if Emmanuel Quickley doesn't go, these are the kind of guys, young guys, contracts that are movable, get back for an asset. But we've seen what especially Ochai Agbaji can do when getting minutes on a team. So for me, we've seen him be a silly season hero. In the end, if he goes to a team where the same opportunity presents itself, I'm definitely watching Mr. Agbaji and Jacoby Walter with more opportunity elsewhere, as in deeper leagues, especially as I watch that space.
I love it, my friend. That's it for our trade stashes, trade deadline stashes. Just a reminder, trade deadline Thursday, the 5th of Feb. So 2 days from today. What else is happening, my friend?
Mate, check us out on Fantasy in 5. We're doing flying over there. I am here on Believe, and you can check me on Old Man Squad on The Take. Now from next week, from Valentine's Day, because you know that I have a big Valentine's Day as a league changer in leagues. You'll catch my weekly show there as well. But you can always find me at NBA G Wiz on all your social medias.
Yep. Don't forget to subscribe to all things Believe in Fantasy Basketball, all things NBA Fantasy Basketball, NBA Bible, I should say, but of course, Fantasy in 5 as well. So a lot more to come. Thank you, guys. Until next time. Thanks, Matty G. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye, D.